Good day and welcome to another episode of Drew's Book Reviews. So it's that time of month again. It is time for the monthly recap and preview video coming right up here on Drew's Book Reviews. So we're going to talk about the books that I read this month, the books I'm currently reading right now, and a preview of what books I plan to read for the month of May. So if you're interested, stay tuned. That is coming right up here on Drew's Book Reviews. Okay, good day, and let's talk about books. Let's talk about what I've read. Let's talk about what I'm reading right now, and let's talk about what I'm going to read next month. Now, I didn't quite get through my entire TBR for the month of April, but that is just fine, because that happens. It's all right, not a big deal. But we could absolutely continue on. We'll just make some adjustments to the TBR as needed. And yeah, let's get right into it. What did I read in the month of April? So first book I have here, now this is in no particular order as far as order I read, just the books I read in April. First we have Money by Yuval Noah Harari. And this was actually sent to me by a viewer of the channel. So this was sent to me by the Greenwood Hub. She's actually got an Instagram page for her arts and crafts. I'll link that down below, with her paper quilling Instagram page and all that good stuff. So I'll link that down below if you're interested in that sort of thing. But she'd sent me this copy of Yuval Noah Harari's book, Money. This is about the origins of money, but it does divest a bit into artificial intelligence and AI. But if you are interested in that sort of thing, this is an interesting little short, quick, easy read by Yuval Noah Harari. I have enjoyed his other books, and I do have 21 lessons for the 21st century by him on my TBR. So definitely, I've enjoyed his writing. I've also read his books Sapiens and Homo Deus. Overall, I did enjoy Money overall. I will link the video on Money below, so you can check out my review on Money by Yuval Noah Harari. So that's one of the books that I got to reading in the month of April. So next up, we finished up The Towers of Midnight by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. So of course, Wheel of Time is by far one of the best fantasy series ever written, in my humble opinion. So definitely, this is an epic series. I'm absolutely loving The Wheel of Time. This is my third time through The Wheel of Time, so really I am enjoying this series hardcore. So I finished this one up in the month of April. I will link my review to The Towers of Midnight below, so be sure to go and check that out as well if you have not already. Although I will say, if you've never read The Wheel of Time, there are spoilers in my reviews for these books, mostly for previous books and what was leading to the setup of this book. It's hard to review a book in a series, especially a series down the road, without having some kind of spoiler for previous books. So just as a heads up and a warning on that. But in any case, Towers of Midnight by Robert Jordan and Brandon Sanderson. This is the 13th book in the Wheel of Time. 14th, of course, being Memories of Light. And this is the second to last book in the series as a whole. So we also read Moving Pictures by Terry Pratchett from the Discworld series. Moving Pictures is hilarious. It really is. I mean, everything by Terry Pratchett is hilarious. Discworld is hilarious. Everything about it is just too funny from start to finish. He pokes fun at everything: pop culture, movies, the film industry, how Hollywood works. From the big shot directors that think they can do anything they want, to the lowly actors that are put through grueling requirements for their screen time and acting and being on call and all kinds of stuff. It is a fun read from start to finish. Moving Pictures, poking fun at the film industry. Again, I will link my review to Moving Pictures down below for you to check out if you have not already. Like always, Discworld, absolutely hilarious, fun, entertaining, pokes fun at everything. Love Discworld. I have yet to see a booktuber out there that really dislike this, or Discworld in general. So yeah, there you have it. Check it out. Terry Pratchett's Discworld in general and Moving Pictures, hilarious. Nice thing is each one of these books could actually kind of be read as a standalone. And while there are different sets of books, like you got the Rinsewine books, the Death books, the Guard books, that kind of thing, each one can still effectively be read as a standalone without needing too much of the other books involved with it. but definitely I would recommend reading them all because they're all just so hilarious and so fun. And honestly, so many people say you have to read Discworld in a certain order, which isn't necessarily publication order. You know what? I don't care. It doesn't matter. Read them in any order you want. I don't find it's making much difference. I personally am reading them in publication order from number 1 to 42. So definitely anything Discworld, check it out. Moving pictures, hilarious. Absolutely loved it. Just love Discworld in general. So the other book that we read there in the month of April was the first one in the Expanse. Now, of course, a Prime Video TV series, which I am thoroughly enjoying, the Prime Video series, Leviathan Wakes, first book in the Expanse. I love this book. I love this series so far. I love the realistic, gritty setting that this is set in. It's with science fiction technology that is actually plausible and realistic. We're not talking phasers and photon torpedoes and transporter beams and that kind of thing. And it's really just a realistic portrayal of a future society after the colonization of the galaxy with realistic science fiction technology, taking everything into account from the differences in gravitational force on different planets and moons in the solar system to the technology used to propel the spaceships through the solar system. And everything about the way it's described and the technology that's used is just really well done, and it's just so realistic, and I love that about it. Often with science fiction you have this really cool technology which is there for convenience purposes. The transporters are there for convenience purposes in Star Trek, for example, to make things simpler. Warp drive is there, faster than light travel, in an effort to make things simpler and easier to travel from one point to the next. Whereas this series, it's contained within our own solar system. It doesn't talk about travel in a matter of minutes or hours from one destination, but sometimes months from one destination to another. So a realistic setting with realistic technology and a realistic reality of what the future of a colonized solar system might look like. And I really like that about this series, and I'm so pumped to continue with this series, going on to all the other books in the Expanse. I'm really enjoying the TV show, really enjoying this series, and just overall loving it. Fantastic book. And of course, we had the Edgar Allan Poe stories. So as we are continuing with the Year of the Poe on this channel, we've got a collected works of Edgar Allan Poe in this series throughout the year. So I will link my latest Edgar Allan Poe video down below. Each month we're going through a couple of stories from Edgar Allan Poe's collected works. I'm really enjoying this Year of the Poe here on the channel. Really enjoying this book, and I'm going to continue to read through this book as we go through everything from Edgar Allan Poe. It's great, it's entertaining, it's dark, it's deathly, as Edgar Allan Poe is known for, and I'm just loving that aspect all around of Edgar Allan Poe's works. But that is what makes Poe Poe. That's what he's famous for, and it's what's making it so enjoyable to read through for this year. So of course you could expect to see more Poe coming up throughout the rest of the year, right to the end of the year. I've divided this into 12 roughly equal sections so that I can cover some Poe each and every month. So there you have it, Edgar Allan Poe. So that is what I read in the month of April. So where does that bring us for my reading challenge for 2021? Well, I set a reading challenge goal of 75 books in 2021. Honestly, looks like I'm a bit behind. We're about 1/3 through the year, but I'm still sitting at 22% through my goal. So based on that, I've read 17 books this year of 75 goal that I set for myself. So I don't quite know if I'm going to make it, but we still have lots of year left, so let's not give up hope yet. I'm sure that I can still power through this. I can get through it. You know what? If I don't hit my goal, that's okay too. Right now, I've got to read 1.5 books per week for the rest of the year to hit my goal of 75 books for the year. I did set a pretty ambitious target for myself because I did exceed my goals that I set last year. So I set a higher goal for myself this year to see if I could actually do it and make it work, and I think that'd be pretty cool. You know, as you can see, I'm 22% through the goal. We're about 33% through the year here, coming out at the end of April. So I'm a little bit behind on that goal, but again, like I said, if I don't make that goal of 75 books for this year, that's okay. That's not a bad thing necessarily. And then we'll kind of see where our goals end up for next year. But yeah, so I'm sitting at 17 of 75 books for the year, 22% through the goal, and we'll just kind of see where it goes from there and whether or not we could achieve success in hitting that goal by the end of the year. Lots of time left, so we won't give up hope quite yet. But definitely, these reading challenges are fun. I like having them. It kind of sets a target. It drives, well, I don't need much drive or ambition to read a book, honestly. I don't need much motivation for that, let's face it, but it's still fun to have those goals. So we'll see if we actually make it to the end of the year with completing 75 reads. All right, so this leads us into what am I working on right now as far as my current reads go. So there are 2 books that I'm currently reading at the moment. One is, of course, A Memory of Light, book 14 from The Wheel of Time. This is the final epic conclusion to The Wheel of Time. And 3rd time through, I'm still loving and enjoying it as much as the first 2 times through. That's kind of what's wonderful about this series, is the more you read it, the more you love it. And I just can't stop reading it 3rd time through. This book series, I'm really enjoying it so far. Right now, I'm about a little more than halfway through, so I'm sure I will finish this up sometime in the month of May. I am enjoying the reread of this on Audible, which is where I do all my rereads essentially on Audible, as I read along with the books and the narrator. So I'm really enjoying doing that, and that's what I'm doing right now with Memory of Light. So about halfway through this, I'll probably get it done sometime in the first half of May. I don't spend as much time doing my rereads as I do on new books. Don't dedicate as much time to that necessarily. So it does tend to take me a little bit longer to go through a reread, but that's okay, because honestly, for me, new books I haven't read are the priority when it comes to reads, because those are the new stories that I don't know anything about. I'm really excited to get into, and that's totally fine. But in any case, Memory of Light, book 14 from The Wheel of Time, is one of the ones I'm currently working on. And this next book, the one that I'm working on, is why I didn't finish my TBR list for the month of April, because it is a big book. It's dense. There's a lot to it, and it's one of those books that if you're just not paying that close attention while you're reading, you're going to miss something. And half the time, the things that you think, I don't get it, why is this even in here, might end up being important later on. It is Memories of Ice from Malazan, Book of the Fallen. This is another thick, nearly 1,000 page book by Steven Erikson. So this is taking me a while to get through. It is definitely one of those books where it feels like you're reading it for probably longer than you really are. Like all of Malazan, it is a dark world. There's a lot of depth to it. There's so much packed. Even though it's 1,000 pages, it feels dense, like there's a lot going on here, and you gotta be paying attention to what you're reading. Because if your mind strays or wanders, you're going to be completely lost. You're going to be like, whoa, where did that come from? What's going on here? I don't get it. And it's just going to be, But I am enjoying Malazan, Book of the Fallen. It's one of those book series where I really feel like I need to take several months, a couple months break between books. Just, you need that breather after each and every book in this series. There's 10 books in the series. And overall, I am enjoying Malazan, Book of the Fallen. I look forward to finishing this. I'm about 2/3 or so through. Currently sitting on page, as of the filming of this video, page 620 of 925. So I got a little more than 300 pages left. So I'm confident I will finish this up sometime early May. But there you have it. Those are 2 books that I'm currently working on with respect to what am I reading right now. So definitely, if you want to find out what I think of these books, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that bell notification button so you can see when I upload the videos on these particular books. So of course, now this leads us into what am I going to read in the month of May. So it's my May TBR coming up here. So as usual, we'll be starting the month of May with Edgar Allen Poe. So of course, Edgar Allen Poe continuing on with his collected works and some interesting stories each and every month from Poe's collection. So this month's reads from Edgar Allen Poe, there's actually only 2 stories that I'll be doing this month for Edgar Allen Poe, and that would be The Premature Burial and The Domain of Arnheim. So there's actually only 2 stories this month. Last month we had quite a bit, we had 7 stories. This month will be 2 stories from Edgar Allen Poe. So I look forward to reading those ones and giving you my thoughts on those stories from Edgar Allen Poe. So again, The Premature Burial and The Domain of Arnheim coming up for Edgar Allen Poe in the month of May. So that'll be first up. Of course, after I finish Memories of Ice, I'll be getting right to more Edgar Allen Poe, so definitely stay tuned for that. And after Edgar Allan Poe, we'll be continuing on with our non-fiction reads for the month. I'll be picking up Brian Greene's The Fabric of the Cosmos. So this is one of the many Brian Greene books I have. I absolutely love his writing and the way he explains physics in a way that helps people like me understand what he's talking about to a greater extent. Now, of course, quantum mechanics and particle physics, and on the quantum level, none of it makes sense, but it all makes sense at the same time. It's kind of what makes this particular field of physics such a fascinating and interesting read. If you haven't checked out my other Brian Greene videos on here, just check out the nonfiction playlist. I will link that below. Definitely well worth checking out. Brian Greene has some great books on this subject. It's a subject that I personally find really interesting. So I'll be picking up The Fabric of the Cosmos, Space, Time, and the Texture of Reality. This is, just space, time, texture, reality. These kind of things are big tropes within science fiction franchise, kind of warp reality as we see it, with things like traveling to alternate universes. I don't know if it talks about that in this particular book, but he did in The Hidden Reality. But in any case, Brian Greene's The Fabric of the Cosmos will be coming up for my nonfiction read for the month of May. So really looking forward to getting into that. Definitely stay tuned for my review on that book. If you are interested in these nonfiction reviews, these are some of the books that I find that I am enjoying the most this year, is a lot of the nonfiction stuff that I am reading, so definitely stay tuned for that. So next up, we have our patron pick of the month for the patron pick read. So if you want to be able to choose, help me decide what to read next month, join me over on Patreon. Starting as little as $1 per month, with my $5 tier, Knights Radiant and above, you actually get to vote on which book I'm going to read next month, as you will have an option to choose between a few different books I'll put up in a poll for you to pick as my patron. So this month's patron pick is going to be Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick, the inspiration to the Blade Runner films. So if you want to know what to think about this, hit that bell button and subscribe so you can see when I put up my review on this book. So I've been meaning to get to some Philip K. Dick for quite a while, and I'm glad I finally bought some Philip K. Dick books. I'm really looking forward to getting into Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. Should be a really interesting read for this month's patron pick. So definitely check that out. Join me over on Patreon if you want to have the opportunity to decide what I'm going to read as well. So stay tuned for that. That is coming up in the month of May. Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. All right, so continuing on with what I plan to read, we are going to move on to some Discworld again. I am trying to read at least one Discworld book each and every month. So this month's Discworld book is going to be Terry Pratchett's Reaper Man. So this is the next book in the Discworld series. So this is going to be another book based around the character Death, who is a funny, entertaining character. Death is one of the most popular characters from the Discworld series, and I don't blame Terry Pratchett for that. I mean, it's no surprise that Death is one of the most popular characters from the Discworld series. So I'm really looking forward to getting into Terry Pratchett's Reaper Man next month. That'll be an interesting read for sure. I have no doubt about that, as all Discworld books absolutely are. Fun, entertaining, lighthearted, and poking fun at everything pop culture and otherwise through Discworld. Looking forward to that. So if you want to hear my thoughts on that, stay tuned. That is coming up in the month of May. And finally, I'm hoping to get to this. It is the one that I wanted to get to this month in April, but wasn't able to get to it. But hopefully I could get to Caliban's War, book 2 of the Expanse series. So here's hoping I could get to this one in the month of May, because as always, there's going to be some good reads, entertaining. It's going to be fun and awesome. If the first book in the Expanse was any indication, this is going to be a good read, and I'm really looking forward to getting into this and getting into more Expanse and seeing where we go from that, and seeing where this series takes off and where it goes overall as far as the progress of the series and all that good stuff goes. So yeah, really looking forward to that. At the very least, I will start this in the month of May if I don't finish it in the month of May. At least that's the plan. Let's see what happens, and we'll kind of go from there and see where we go from there with that. So Expanse, book 2, Caliban's War, that's going to be good. I'm really looking forward to that, so definitely stay tuned. There is one other book that if I have time, if I get a chance to, I will get to it. And I don't know if I will. I'm not actually sure when I'll get around to this book, but hopefully, hey, if I got time in the month of May, if I somehow manage to finish all the way through Caliban's War before the end of the month, then I will start up on New Spring. If not, that's okay too. New Spring is on my TBR list for when I finish the Wheel of Time. I am going through Wheel of Time on Audible. I generally don't like to read a book for the first time through with Audible. I do like to read that without Audible first time through as a general rule. So I'm not really sure when I'll get to this. I mean, I could do it on Audible. I do have it in my Audible library, but like I said, I do prefer to read without Audible the first time and do my rereads, read along with Audible after the fact. So I'm undecided if I'll do this on Audible the first time or not. We'll see what happens. But New Spring is absolutely on my TBR list. I mean, I will eventually get to it at some point. So if I don't get to it in May, this is only if I have time, only if I can manage to get through the other books on my TBR for May, will I start this one. Otherwise, it'll just move to the back of the line for a little bit until I get to it on my TBR, which is pretty big right now. Like my TBR easily is close to 2 years worth of reading if I didn't buy a single book for the next 2 years. But yeah, right, like that's gonna happen. Me not buy books for 2 years? Are you crazy? Of course I'm gonna buy books over the next 2 years. So definitely, in any case, New Spring, maybe I'll get to it, maybe I won't, we'll see. Might happen, but I know I will get to it one day. Just when, I'm not actually sure yet. So there you have it. There is my to be read for the month of May. So really looking forward to getting to those books. They're going to be fun and exciting reads. I have no doubt about that. And as always, I'm always anxiously awaiting getting to the next book on my list, because that's life as a booktuber. That's life as a bookworm and a book obsessed nut like I am. Also, as with that, May, we've got some other things coming up in the month of May, which I'm really looking forward to. So first off, we've got on Sunday, May 2nd, we've got the live stream coming up with the Netflix book tag. So stay tuned for that. We'll have special guests on with Epic Tales, Andrew's Wizardly Reads, Nico's Book Review, and Leslie from the Nerdy Narrative. We'll be coming on 4:30 p.m. Pacific time, Sunday, May 2nd, to do the Netflix book tag live on air here on Drew's Book Review. So I'm really pumped and really looking forward to that. So mark your calendar, stay tuned for that. It's gonna be fun doing that. It's the first time kind of done this live stream with other booktubers hosted on my channel. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I will link their channels below as well. And also on Sunday, May 16th, this is the big giveaway. This is the birthday live stream. I'm hoping to talk about maybe 40 books that I've really enjoyed over the past 40 years of my life with the 40th birthday live stream. And at the end of that stream, we're going to be doing a draw. We're going to draw names for the winners of my book giveaway. So if you haven't seen that video yet, definitely check that out. I'll put the link to that below as well. So there's some upcoming events in the month of May that I'm really looking forward to. Linktree will be down below, so you can follow the Linktree to follow me on Instagram and Twitter is where I'm primarily active. You'll also be able to join me on the Discord. I will have that link below if you want to join me over on Discord, and we can have some good conversations about books and reading life in general as well. And of course, as always, there is Patreon. You can join me on Patreon as well. I'll have that link below where you can, for as little as $1 per month, you can support this channel and get early access to my videos. You also have the opportunity to pick my next read. You'll be able to pick my next purchase with the high tier patrons if you're so inclined to do so as well. Any support, even likes, comment, and subscribe are much appreciated. So Patreon, always appreciated, always optional. My content will always be free to view here on YouTube as well. Though I do hope as I grow on the Patreon, we'll be able to start bringing out some new things for perks, such as maybe like a monthly hangout or a monthly patron only live stream. I hope to do more book giveaways once I get enough patrons to support that kind of activity there with patron-only giveaways, things like that. So definitely, if you are interested, if you want to support this channel, head on over to Patreon and join me over there for some nice perks that you'll be able to get as a patron. So thank you so much for watching, really appreciate it. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Drew's Book Reviews. And like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you thought about my May TBR list and my April reads. And, keep on reading. As always, thank you so much for joining me. And until next time, keep on reading. Bye.